Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Locker Room presented by West Liberty University Athletics. This is a podcast that features and showcases a new student athlete every single week. Today's episode is sponsored by Permane Brothers at the Highlands, and I'm your host, Kelsey Kyle. I am so excited to introduce today's guest. Cam Rice is a redshirt sophomore on the football team from Morgantown, West Virginia. Cam spent his first collegiate football season at West Virginia University before transferring to West Liberty. During Cam's first season for the Hilltoppers, he was named Mountain East Conference Defensive Freshman of the Year and to the MEC Second Team All-Conference. So far this season, Cam has had very impressive stats. He is currently leading the team in tackles for loss, sacks, pass breakups, QB hurries, and forced fumbles. He is tied for the team lead in total tackles and blocked kicks. Cam is tied for the lead in tackles for loss per game and ranks 4th in sacks per game for the entire Mountain East Conference. In all of NCAA Division II football, Cam ranks 6th in tackles for loss per game, 31st in forced fumbles per game, and 44th in sacks per game. He had a career high of 3 sacks in the win against Concord, which is the most in an MEC game this season. Cam has also been named MEC Defensive Player of the Week 2 different times this season. Welcome to the podcast, Cam.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, so let's just go back to the very beginning. Let's talk a little bit about your childhood and when you first got into playing football.
Yeah, I started playing football pretty much as long as I can remember. I was around it. My big brother played it, and I was just that little brother that always wanted to be around him and play with him.
No, that's awesome. Who got you started in football? Was it kind of the influence of your brother?
Yeah, definitely my brother.
That's awesome. How much older is he than you?
2 years older.
2 years older. That's awesome. All right, so talk a little bit about high school football. So you started whenever you were little. You, I'm sure, did like the little league, maybe middle school, then you got into high school, and that's probably, I'm guessing, when it became a little bit more serious for you. Just talk a little bit about your like high school experience playing football.
Yeah, so I went to Morgantown High School. That's right around the time when I started playing quarterback, and I was the starting quarterback my sophomore year through my senior year, and it was really good. I had a ton of friends on the team. We always enjoyed playing together. I did struggle with injuries, 2 knee surgeries, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so that is very, I feel like, tough to overcome, especially young in high school, having 2 different knee surgeries. Plus, whenever you were in high school, that's whenever the COVID pandemic initially hit.
Mhm.
So, how do you feel like your injuries and then just dealing with everything that came with COVID and not being able to play for so long? How do you feel like that affected your recruiting process?
It definitely affected it. And the 2 years I got hurt were pretty much the more important years, my junior and my senior year. And then my senior year, COVID happened. We only played 6 games, which I think that also affected recruiting and things like that. Uh, yeah, I tore my meniscus twice. First time junior year, got it repaired. Went into senior year, tore it right before the season started. So then they took it out, so I don't have a meniscus anymore.
Oh, wow.
Um, but I mean, it's definitely comes with the sport. Something you just got to get through and overcome.
Yeah. So, after all of that, when did you really start to know that you wanted to play college football? And even through the adversity you were dealing with, did you start looking into schools and start that recruitment process?
Yeah, I knew for a long time that I wanted to keep playing this game, especially after the injuries, and I didn't have enough time to accomplish the things I wanted to in high school. So I knew I wanted to keep playing and pursue that dream of playing college football.
Okay, nice. So then you're from Morgantown, West Virginia. I feel like for especially athletes in West Virginia, like the dream is to make it at WVU
Mhm.
and to play for the Mountaineers. So what was that like um, to get to WVU, and what did that process look like for you to end up on the team there for your first year of college?
Yeah, a lot of kids where I'm from dream to play on that field and wear that uniform. So that was really a dream come true for me. Um, I was around a lot of good people who taught me a lot of good things. I never played defensive line before. I was quarterback in high school, so it was definitely a really big change. But like I said, I had the right kind of people around me to keep me where I needed to be.
So let's talk a little bit about that too. So you are used to playing quarterback. You're playing quarterback in high school, and then now you're a freshman in college with some of the best, and you're no longer playing quarterback. You're actually playing defensive line. Were you just how did you get through that? What was your thought process? Did you feel like you had to relearn everything you had known? Talk a little bit about that.
Definitely, it was a lot of learning and a lot of eating and working out, trying to gain as much weight as possible. Um, but during high school, my coaches always told me like I'd probably be a better defensive player than an offensive player. So, and when they were going through recruiting, not many people were reaching out to me for quarterback. So it was more linebacker or defensive end, just like as an athlete. So I decided to put my pride aside and just pursue that since that's where I was getting looked at and it's working out for me.
Yeah. So your time at WVU, I'm sure, like you said, a dream come true. You're working out, you're around some of these really helpful, influential coaches, players while learning the new position. So you spend 1 year there at WVU. What made you think that you might want to look elsewhere and that you might want to transfer to a different school?
Yeah, I believed in myself and thought that I could be more of use somewhere else
Hmm.
and be more productive somewhere else. And the walk on thing, it's tough, paying for that. So being on scholarship is definitely nice.
Yeah. I think that is really awesome too that you got to see what that's like. Like you got to be at the big Power Five Division 1 school. You got to live that life for a little bit, but then you also were able to kind of like look inside and be like, okay, this was great. This was an amazing experience, but I want to go play even more. Was
Yeah,
that kind of the
yeah,
thought?
for sure.
Yep. So then whenever you decide you want to transfer, how did West Liberty get on your radar and how'd you end up here?
West Liberty was actually my first offer out of high school. So,
Okay.
and my brother was here, so it kind of just had a place in my heart. Um, it pretty much just came down to West Liberty and Shepherd. Went on, I went to both their spring games, and I had a great time up here. I loved the guys on the team, and I felt like I'd fit right in.
Yeah, so you just mentioned your older brother.
Hmm.
So whenever you came here, did you two ever play together?
Yeah,
Yeah.
last season we did play together.
So if you listened, or if anyone that's listening right now watched last week's podcast with Riley, we did talk about something similar where her and her younger sister are teammates. So I feel like that again just kind of shows the West Liberty family
Yeah.
aspect of it all. I talked about it last week too, that my younger sister was at West Lib before I got here and then I came and coached her.
Hmm.
So I think it's kind of funny, but also it's very, um, just a very good representation of what it's like here. When you
Yeah.
keep seeing all of these siblings, all of
Right.
these family members that end up here together, I love that.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so you've had a very impressive career at West Liberty so far. I mean, defensive freshman of the year for the conference last year. You've already been named MEC Defensive Player of the Week twice already this season. Um, just leading the team in so many different stat categories that I read off during your introduction. Um, what did you really focus on coming off of last season, and what did you focus on in the off season just to better yourself going into this fall?
The biggest thing I tried to work on was my leadership and just maturing as a football player, understanding what it takes to be a leader and how important it is to have good leaders on a team to lead a team to victory. So pretty much all off season, I was just trying to be around as many guys as I could, encouraging, helping them out, and they helped me out too when I needed. So
Yeah,
love to see it.
no, I think that's great, and I think that that shows, um, the type of player you are, the type of teammates that you have to really want to, build that bond on and off the field. Um, did you have any like specific goals coming into this year, or anything you were working on like in the weight room, or anything you were working on to just really improve your technique, your craft, anything like that?
Yeah, I pretty much won every award there is. Like defensive player of the year, I want to get that. I'm striving for that. I want first team last year I made second team. I won first team this year. Winning season, obviously. I just want us all to be successful.
Yeah. Which, speaking of success for the football team, first off, you guys went on a 3-game win streak, which had not been done since the 2016 season. So that was very impressive that you guys had right. I feel like in the middle of the season, where normally I feel like around that time, that's when injuries start to happen.
Yeah.
That's when like the season fatigue really sits in. But that's where you guys even stepped it up, and you won 3 big games back to back to back. And then West Liberty football actually ranks within the top 25 of 6 different categories in the nation right now. Right now we're 5th in blocked punts, 6th in blocked kicks, 7th in passing offense, 12th in third down conversion percentage, 20th in fourth down conversion percentage, and 23rd in time of possession per game. So those are some pretty good stats. What do you think as a team you guys have improved on this year?
I think this team takes pride in doing those little things like special teams. Like that's very important. A lot of people don't take into consideration that those plays can change the game. And this year we stayed locked in, and that's just another play we can go out and force an opportunity for ourselves, and we've done that.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, and the team has played so well this season. And what I think that sometimes people don't realize is right now how strong the Mountain East Conference is in football. Like the most recent super regional rankings just came out, and there were 3 MEC teams in the top 8, which I'm not sure the last time that's happened. That's very impressive for a conference as a whole. So, what is it like preparing for each game, knowing that every single week you're up against tough competition and it's just a new challenge?
Yeah, every week we go in with the same mindset, like nothing's going to be given to us. We got to go earn it. So it's important to understand your opponents and study them as much as you can. And yeah, like you said, the competition this year is definitely tough. Every week it's a battle, it's a fight. So you just got to keep pushing through.
Yeah. You just talked about really learning about your opponents. What do you really focus on whenever you're like looking at the game film, studying? What do you focus on from that aspect to prepare for a game?
Yeah, I'm constantly in Coach Monterosa, our defensive coordinator. I'm constantly in his office, breaking down film, studying film, um, really just getting a feel for what they like to do. So then whenever I'm out there during the game, I got a feel for what they're going to
Mm-hmm. No, that's so good. So you have one more game this season, one more game at home next Saturday. It's not only senior night, but it's against longtime rival Wheeling University. Talk to us a little bit about the feelings going into that game, the feelings going into the last regular season game of the season. Talk about maybe some of the seniors and just what you're really hoping to have come out of that game.
do. Yeah, you gotta love rivalry football. You know it's gonna be a great atmosphere. They got those guys come up here. They bring a lot of fans. We have a lot of fans that come out for that. Definitely want to send the seniors off right with a win. It's going to be a big game. Going to need everyone to be locked in and be ready to win that. But yeah, that's the last game of the season, so it'll be a good test of where we're going to be going into next year.
No, that's a really good point. Also, I woke up this morning and it was the first snow of this fall winter season. What are your thoughts about playing your last game at home if it would snow? And is that do you like to play in the snow?
It's been a while since I've had to play in the snow. I honestly do prefer cold over hot. Uh, it'll be fun. I like
Yeah.
playing in bad conditions. It usually affects the offense more than the defense.
Okay. Okay. So you just worry about staying warm, going out there,
Yeah.
doing what you need to do. If it snows, I'll probably be watching from inside.
Yeah.
Yep. But since we are nearing the end of the season, what takeaways have you had from this season so far, and what ideas do you have just to step into a greater leadership role and to enhance your playing and your team even more going into spring ball and then next season?
Yeah, going into spring ball, we're just gonna take what we learned from this season, everything that went well and things that we obviously need to fix, and we'll clean that all that up during spring, and then come back for fall ready to go again.
Do you know, which if you don't know, completely fine. Do you know how many people are graduating on the team this year, or like if you're losing key players?
We're losing obviously our starting quarterback Rudy Garcia, and that'll be a big hit for us. But it's just next man up mentality. So someone's gonna have to be able to take control of the offense and control the team because that's the biggest leader on the team right there.
Yep. All right. So, phasing out of football a little bit, what is your major and what are you studying here at Westlib?
I am in the community education program with a major of sports recreation and wellness.
Nice.
So yeah, I'd like to be involved in the community, helping out where I can. I struggled through college trying to figure out what I wanted to do, what I wanted to major in,
Hmm.
and then I found this, and it's like perfect for me. What like I love sports. I know all about sports, and I want to teach the youth about sports, and I think that's how I can give back to the community.
That's great. I definitely understand. I think I changed my major like 3 times in
Yeah,
college. I feel like it's so hard to decide
it
and
is.
then so many different options. So I'm glad that you found one that
Mhm.
does feel like the perfect fit for you. What would you like to do post grad?
I plan to keep playing football until the wheels fall off, until I
Yeah.
can't anymore. And then I'd like to open up a youth sports center in either my community back home or wherever I continue playing football at, and just give back to the youth and teach them what I know about sports and how that can shape them into being better people in society.
No, that is awesome. Um, and how you mentioned wanting to play football as long as you can. I was super inspired recently whenever I saw the story of Tyson Bagent, who is from Martinsburg, West Virginia, went on to play football at Shepherd University, um, and then from there ended up making it in the NFL, playing backup quarterback for the Bears, and then recently got his first NFL win after the starting quarterback got injured, and then for the next game after that became the first Division II undrafted rookie to start in an NFL game since 1950, which that stat just blew my mind. But what does it feel like to watch, another West Virginia kid that played at a D2 university in West Virginia make it and, is just currently living out the dream playing in
Hmm.
the NFL? How is that an inspiration for you? And just what's your takeaways on that?
Tyson, he's a really good guy. Like I said, whenever I transferred, it was between West Liberty and Shepherd, and when I went to their spring game, that was my host. So I spent the day with him and got to pick his brain a little bit. He's a great guy, really love what he's doing, and yeah, he's having a really good year. It really just shows that the D2 players are capable and they can play at that level, and he keep doing what he's doing, and there'll be more that follow.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you hit on this a little bit earlier as well, because there are just so many NFL players or pro athletes that go on to use their platform for so much good in their communities. And so I think you kind of said this earlier with wanting to give back to the youth.
Mhm.
If you had that sort of platform, you would want to do something like that as well.
Most definitely, yeah.
No, that's awesome. Um, all right. So now we're going to get to my favorite part, and we're going to play rapid fire. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to try to just answer them as quickly with like the first thing that comes to your mind.
All right,
So, what's your favorite jersey to play in?
black,
Okay. What is your go-to post-game meal?
Chipotle,
Chipotle, good one. What's your favorite season out of the year?
fall or winter.
Okay. You're probably loving it right now.
Yeah,
Um, College football or NFL?
college.
What's your favorite college team?
Have to say WVU.
Yeah, okay, understandable. Um, Favorite Disney movie?
Lion King.
Good one. What is your go-to coffee order?
I'm not a big coffee guy, but I like caramel flavored stuff, so something with caramel in it.
Okay. Would you consider yourself a cat person or a dog person?
Dog.
Big dog, little dog?
Big dog.
Okay. Do you have any game day superstitions?
Yeah, I stand in the shower for like 2 hours before the game, and yeah, that's about it.
Just think about everything that's
Yeah,
going to happen?
just dead quiet, just thoughts to myself. That's it.
Whatever it takes. All right. So this is the last question for this episode, and it's what I want to close every podcast episode with. So if you could go back in time, what is one thing that you would tell yourself back on freshman move-in day?
I would tell myself that it's gonna fly by. Take advantage of everything at your exposure, that you're exposed to, and keep working, keep going hard, and do well in school.
No, that is so true. All right. Well, thank you so much, Cam, for being today's guest on the Locker Room. I loved having you, and I'm so excited for everyone to get to learn more about you. Make sure that you catch Cam and the rest of the Hilltopper football team for their senior night next Saturday, November 11th at 1 p.m. against Wheeling University. We have another busy week for Hilltopper athletics. The volleyball team is on the road tonight at Fairmont State and then back home next Tuesday for their final regular season home meet against Frostburg State. Our wrestling team is on the road both Saturday at Mount Union Invitational and Thursday at Mercyhurst. And both our men's and women's cross-country teams are running this Saturday at the NCAA Division II Atlantic Regional Race. Make sure that you follow WLU Athletics on all social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and follow the Locker Room podcast on Instagram. And subscribe to the Locker Room on Spotify and Apple Podcasts because you don't want to miss any of our exciting updates or announcements. All right, thank you all so much for listening. Make sure to join us again next Friday when I'm back to recap the 2022-23 National Runner-Up season and preview this upcoming season with men's basketball player Chaz Hines.